Nobody wants to hear that dreaded phrase, "it's complicated." We wonder in our hearts, why does it have to be this difficult? Why won't God just tell me what to do? While God will lead you to do what He wants you to do, that process of finding out what God wants for you and this person you have questions about is usually not easy and fast. In fact, the complications that occur are often used by God to help you find those answers that you're looking for. Therefore, here are 5 complicated things that God often allows to happen when He's revealing your person to you. And by that phrase, your person, I mean that person He has planned for you to marry one day. Number 1, you'll be confronted with that question, is risking the friendship forever worth the chance at romance? Many marriages are formed when 2 friends decide that they should date instead of just being friends. But perhaps what happens more often than that is that 2 friends decide to date, it doesn't work out, and then the friendship is never the same. So how can you decide if risking the friendship is worth it? In my view of relationships, it's almost always worth the risk of trying to be something more with someone that has previously just been a friend, because if you sense you have a chance with this person, you have to remember that you already don't have what you want with this person. So maybe to say it another way is that the reason you are so worried about ruining the friendship is because you already care about this person as more than a friend. You're not ever going to have what you really hope to have if you don't at least take a chance at pursuing it. So when God is revealing your person, you will take that risk and it will work out. That friend will become something more than a friend. Proverbs 18:24, there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. When this friend becomes your spouse, you are doubly blessed by this person. Number 2, you'll have to decide if you are settling or if you're simply accepting this person for who they are so that you can enjoy them. Accepting someone is when you're willing to just receive that person for who they are rather than having a preconceived idea of who you're going to marry and then looking for this very specific type of person. You instead look for the right person God has for you, and then you just learn how to enjoy them for who God made them to be. Now, of course, there needs to be biblical requirements that you don't compromise on, that you're not just going to accept, oh, you know, they're not a Christian. Oh, you know, they're not bearing fruits of the Spirit. Oh, they can't be a biblical husband or wife. That's not what we're talking about here. But when you get more to those subjective, personal desires that you want, the more of those you have, really, it's not a list of requirements, but it ends up becoming a list of barriers that you have to meet somebody. Again, I'm not saying this to the extreme where you don't have any personal desires, you don't have any subjective hopes for this type of person. Those are okay, and it's obviously natural for us to want certain things in somebody, but you need to be careful that list isn't getting too long. The longer it gets, the harder it is to meet someone. Settling, however, is when you know you're unhappy with this person, but you decide to be in a relationship with them because you would rather just be with someone rather than being alone. Never settle. If the fear of being alone, the fear of not being good enough, if that's what's motivating you to be with someone, you know, this is really not the person God has for you. When you read 1 Corinthians 7 verses 36 through 37, for example, there's a clear principle there that you should want to be with the person God is calling you to marry. And if you don't have a strong desire to be with that person, then you shouldn't be with that person. Number 3, you'll have to decide if giving up other parts of your life are worth being in a relationship with this person. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 33 through 34 states, "But the married man is anxious about worldly things, how to please his wife, and his interests are divided. And the unmarried or betrothed woman is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit. But the married woman is anxious about worldly things, how to please her husband." So this passage in context of all of 1 Corinthians 7 does not mean that every single person should intentionally try to remain single. If you read that whole passage, there's multiple verses where Paul says this type of person should pursue marriage. This is not a blanket statement for everyone saying you all should choose singleness, and you're choosing second best if you decide to get married. But again, on a natural level, on a practical level, there are things you're going to have to sacrifice if you choose to get married. And when God reveals the right person to you, you're going to know, yeah, this is worth it. I want to give up these certain things so that I can be in a relationship forever on earth with this person. Number 4, you'll have to decide if those problems you face with this person are negative or positive. So we often oversimplify relationships and we say things to ourselves like, well, if there's any problems with this person, it must just mean this isn't the one. And when I do meet the one, it'll be perfect. There'll be no issues. And that's how I'll know God's revealing the person he wants me to marry. These types of problems are exposing character issues that you both are repenting of. It's maturing you. It's pushing you closer together. It's drawing out issues that God is working on. These are really positive signs, and this is a good sign God's revealing the one to you. And number 5, you'll have to decide if saying no to all the other relationship options is worth it to be with this person. If you're still thinking to yourself, I wonder if there's someone better out there for me, you have not met your person. When God is saying, yes, this is your person, that desire to be with other people, that's not going to be there. So when God is saying, yeah, that's the one, then you'll know you're happy to say no to everyone else. If this was helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up so this video can spread to other people who might need to see it as well. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.